Hey everyone, this is Eric with another Battle Tanks League commentary video. I'm a little bit late getting into this one because I just finished commentating in a game that went 2 hours and 4 minutes, and my voice was a little bit tired. I needed to get water, so let's see if my voice holds up for this one. I think I am getting a little bit more accustomed to talking like this, so my voice has a little bit more stamina than it did when I first started this, but expect me to fumble some things, maybe be not quite as focused this game, but let's get into it anyway. On the North team, the Light Force, we do have Caav in a Tinker with an Energy Torpedo, which is pretty standard. I saw a game earlier in which Grake went with a Tinker opener and he got an Electro Cannon, and he didn't immediately switch to something like Helicopter or Medivac, and it went worse for him that he did. I don't actually remember how that game turned out, but Energy Torpedo on the Tinker is the way to go because it makes your tank still a threat despite only having 250 hit points, and Caav indeed is able to teleport in just the perfect position to get the kill on Hui Fui. However you pronounce that, I'm not sure. I'm gonna like Hoi Foi. I'm just gonna pronounce it like that since it's easier for me, even though it's kind of an ugly pronunciation. Accompanying Caav is SHYMASTORM in a light tank with 2 basic magics. That's pretty common. You can get a light cannon in a light tank instead of 2 basics. In fact, that's what I usually do, just because it's pretty much the same DPS, but it occupies 1 less inventory slot. And what I usually find in the middle is that I cannot upgrade my second basic magic before the 5-minute mark anyway. You can see SHYMASTORM has upgraded 1. Let's see if he upgrades the other. If he does, what I'm going to expect is he won't be able to get a hole at 5 minutes. He's going to have to wait until like 6 minutes or 7 minutes. He's going to be a little bit vulnerable. And meanwhile, Escanor is in a scout with an Electro Cannon. So we've got a lot of DPS on this Light Force here. They've got the 3 cheapest tanks, so they've got a lot of DPS. Caav does have to be careful because Alrion's scout with the Bombard rockets can 2-shot him. So we do have Alrion in a scout with a Bombard rocket. We have Hui Foi in a scout with an Electro Cannon, and Marquez in a distributor with a basic magic. So he's definitely going to get out farmed by these 2 scouts for now. So Marquez, unfortunate spot for him, but they should be able to. He should be able to support these 2 scouts for now, and that reactive armor is an excellent counter to the Energy Torpedo upgrade. Caav takes 1 Energy Torpedo shot. He's a Bombard shot away from dying, or he takes a heat-seeking missile rather. He's now level 4, so we can get level 2 towers. Looks like we have ShadowStorm on the top lane from the Dark Forest. He's in a Raider with a basic magic that he's upgraded, and then he is facing Fenix. They both just leveled up to 4 at the same time. Fenix is an anti-grav with a Raider, also with a basic magic. The Fenix, the anti-grav, can start out with a basic magic upgrade, so he has a temporary advantage in DPS over ShadowStorm and the Raider, but now that they've upgraded both to a basic magic upgrade, you can see Fenix, of course, does have a little bit more gold since his tank is a little bit cheaper, but they have equal DPS. ShadowStorm has a bit more powerful of a tank, and so he should be able to push Fenix, though, and he is getting some of the static charges off, but though he was playing a little bit out of position and took a lot of unnecessary damage. Looks like Pikabar just got a kill on the bottom. Pikabar is in a scout, so we've got 3 scouts on this bottom team here, this Dark Force. And Pikabar is facing Valkyriies. Valkyriies is in an anti-grav with a Molotov cocktail. Anti-grav is very good against Scout once it gets to around level 6, and it can get a level 2 jump and a level 1 W and a Q. And of course the level 2 tank cannon. So Valkyriies is only level 4.3, so he's got a little bit, Pikabar's got a little bit of ways before he becomes vulnerable. But Valkyriies, with that jump and with those EMP torpedoes, he can quickly close the gap between him and Pikabar and get kills on Pikabar that way. So Pikabar will probably change tank to something soon, or he'll get a hole on the scout. I would expect him to change tank though. Let's see how this middle does. Valkyriies is a very good player. I think he's top 10, but Pikabar is the #1 in the world, and he does start out with a lot more DPS than Valkyriies does, so you can see he already has pretty much a full level advantage over Valkyriies, which already being a level ahead at level 5 is pretty impactful. Caav securing a pretty good spot in the middle here with these towers, allowing his allies to stay in this strategic location, maintain an offensive position, but hop behind these towers when necessary. Marquez finally has a second basic magic. It's 5 minutes into the game, so everybody's gotten 4 gold. And Alrion gets a kill on Caav with those bombard rockets. Huifui takes triple rockets from SHYMASTORM. That was level 2, so it took out about half of Huifui's health. And then SHYMASTORM followed up with a couple of basic magic volleys to finish the job. And it looks like Caav just got a medivac, so he will play long-range medivac, and that medivac can allow both SHYMASTORM and Escanor to maintain an offensive position as well because of its W ability. And I would say that if Huifui had gotten bombard rockets himself, it might be worthwhile for Caav to get the E ability, which spawns a tiny building, has a percent chance to spawn a tiny structure for each kill, and that can be a very good ability on lanes and also against 1300 range, because the 1300 range 90% damage reduction against the structures does apply to the little E spawns from the medivac. But he'll probably spec the W, which is a good idea. He can heal his allies that way and help them maintain an aggressive position or even swing a fight. Alrion has a hole now, so he's not nearly as vulnerable. He takes a lot of damage anyway, and Huifui dies. Marquez is the one to respond with a couple of heat-seeking missiles, and he's barely able to get the kill on SHYMASTORM with that last heat-seeking missile. So a 1-to-1 trade right there. Looks like Fenix has traded out his basic magic for an electro cannon, and he has that tech mech as well, so that tech mech will buy that basic magic back. For anybody who doesn't play the League a lot, if you do want to save up for an early weapon such as electro cannon or swarm rockets or even rock catapult, a good way of doing that is by starting out with basic magic, and then you sell the basic magic for 833 gold when you want to buy your second weapon. That way you get that weapon 800 gold earlier, and you don't have to wait until 10 minutes to buy it, so you're not going to be vulnerable between 7 minutes and 10 minutes. And then of course what you do is you just immediately use your tech mech, save up 833 gold, and buy back that basic magic. You can do that with most cheap weapons: multi-bow, basic magic, darkness spheres, even Molotov, stuff like that. The Light Force putting some pressure on this Dark Force's command post here. Marquez trying to pursue Caav, but takes an energy torpedo. Then Escanor gets hit by a triple rocket, one more volley. Oh, he barely survives. Alrion gets a couple of lucky bombards, but even that wasn't quite enough. He's still hitting Caav with that bombard rocket, despite there being so many creeps around. Looks like SHYMASTORM has a hole, so he's pretty tanky. He's a little bit vulnerable to Marquez, though. Marquez does get a kill on Caav. His Light Force playing a little bit too greedy, I think. They shouldn't be dying as much as they are. A lot of these are needless deaths. Pikabar has done the same thing as Fenix, and he has bought an electro cannon, and it looks like his tech mech either just recently delivered in the basic magic, or he just... Oh no, he was a scout. So he had that electro cannon, and he switched to a medivac, and now he has bought a basic magic on top of that. And so he still has a full level lead over Valkyriies, and Valkyriies has a hole, and he has basic magic in addition to that Molotov cocktail. But Pikabar is going to be pretty hard to kill, and he's going to use that tech mech to repair himself and maintain this aggressive position on Valkyries' tower. And you can see he actually got that E ability because he is in a lane. It's a little bit better in the lane than the W. He gets a super thrust on Valkyries, but none of his follow-up volleys hit Valkyries. They all hit the creeps, and Valkyries actually gets the kill on Pikabar right there. Pretty unlucky. And Valkyries is going to bring a tech mech to repair his own tower. He still is at a level disadvantage compared to Pikabar, but definitely getting that kill alleviated some of it. And now he'll have a little bit of time where he can stay outside of his command post. Takes a super thrust from Pikabar. Anytime Pikabar hits that super thrust, not only does it damage Valkyries, but it does a lot of damage to the creeps around him, and that allows Pikabar to push this position more quickly. So he's already pushing Valkyries back to his own tower. ShadowStorm, meanwhile, gets a kill on Fenix. So it looks like he has a third basic magic. Let's see what it was. Yep. Of course, as a raider, you can get star shooters instead of basic magics, but it looks like ShadowStorm is trying to play with a weapon that'll be a little bit more versatile in the mid game. Fenix, on the other hand, can also likewise get a grenade launcher instead of a basic magic upgrade. In fact, that's what I would do as an anti-grav, except of course you remember that Fenix started out with the basic magic upgrade and then bought the electro cannon afterward. But if you wanted to get a third weapon, a grenade launcher would be pretty cheap, and it would be pretty impactful on these lane fights. It would also be useful against Pikabar. SHYMASTORM takes a triple rocket by Huifui. Marquez follows up with some heat-seeking missiles. Marquez himself is a little bit vulnerable. Remember, Caav has this energy torpedo that can deal 478 damage, one more volley, and he would die, but he gets behind the dark creeps. Marquez now with 3 basic magics, Alrion with a scout, and he is saving up some gold, so maybe he'll follow up with the swarm rockets. Personally, I think rock catapult is a better weapon than swarm rockets, because its upgrade is a little, like swarm rockets is a bit better. Electro cannon is good, swarm rockets is a little bit better unless you really need that 1050 range, and then rock catapult is best in my opinion because it's a slower firing weapon than the swarm rockets, so it's not as easily telegraphed that you're firing on somebody and they can take some damage, some surprise damage. It's also more likely to get last hits on creeps. Lots of abilities going off on Marquez. You saw 2 triple rockets and super thrust hit him, and then Hui Fui also dies, so excellent use of their combination of abilities by this light force here. As I was saying, the rock catapult is more likely to deal surprise damage to an enemy. It's also more likely to get last hits on creeps, and its upgrade is worth more. So it's not a wasted inventory slot in the mid game. I think in total it's worth 5,000 gold. So it's basically like an artillery at that point, an artillery set to normal mode. So it's pretty powerful. It is difficult to save up for though. Alrion might get a storm tank quickly though. He did that last game. Wasn't the most successful for him, but that last game had a really impressive combination of tanks. I think the Dark Force got Frost Robot. They had Frost Robot, they had Goblin Wrecker, and Goblin Brawler in the middle, and then 2 Demon tanks on the lanes. So ridiculous tank combination there that synergized very well in all spots, and definitely not a combination that's good to fight against if you're a storm tank. Marquez barely gets a kill and dies in return. He did wander into 3 different people, so that's impressive that he was able to get a kill. Looks like ShadowStorm is saving up some gold. He might get a repair kit. Raider can get the repair kit instead of the iron hole. It looks like he buys an iron hole instead. So I would have bought a repair kit because you can combine that into a strength pack and save yourself an inventory slot later in the game. And Raider has enough hit points that you don't urgently need the 100 or the 1,000 hit points from the hole. You can save up for a steel hole that way. But looks like he just wants a bit of additional hit points here. I will say additionally in ShadowStorm's spot, one of the things that the repair kit can do is allow you to maintain an offensive position because it's hit points that it regenerates for you. Any damage that Fenix deals to ShadowStorm that's beyond what ShadowStorm can heal up at this strategic location is damage that ShadowStorm at some point is going to have to go back to his own command post to heal from. And so that prevents him from pushing Fenix's position constantly, as pikabar is doing here on Valkyriies. Pikabar is slightly 1 level ahead, slightly more than 1 level ahead of Valkyriies still. Valkyriies with the 2nd basic magic. Pikabar has gotten a hole, and perhaps he'll get 1 more weapon and then save up. Triple rocket on Marquez. Looks like Caav has gotten a quick thunder tank, so they're going to try to be pretty aggressive here. Caav takes a triple rocket, a couple of heat-seeking missiles going off. Unfortunately, everybody's spreading their damage on these Light Force players, and I don't think anybody's going to die except for SHYMASTORM gets that last basic magic volley. So they do get 1 kill out of this. Pretty quick tank out of Caav. Actually, not that quick. It's like 14 minutes. And I wonder what Alrion's going to get. He has 5,000 gold already, and it's nearly 15 minutes. If he could save up for a quick hunter, that would be incredible, but he might just get a heavy tank soon. 15-minute heavy tank is still very fast, so... And he is close to level 10, so he'll be able to deal a lot of damage to these. All 3 of these tanks are relatively vulnerable, but especially that light tank and the helicopter. And having to save up from helicopter for 10 minutes, let's assume they get a tank at around 25 minutes. Saving up against a level 10 heavy for 10 minutes is very difficult. Hui Fui is going to die to a combination of abilities, and then Marquez is able to use his heat-seeking missiles to kill Escanor. So Hui Fui's been dying a lot, and Marquez has been getting a few kills, so I'm probably happy that he got that distributor despite his lack of farm early on. And then Alrion is sticking with this scout beyond 15 minutes. If he can get the early hunter, that would be really impactful. He won't deny saving for as long from these two tanks, Escanor and SHYMASTORM, but he'll be much more impactful throughout the game. Hunter does scale well into the late game. Heavy tank does need to switch tanks at around 55 or 60 minutes without becoming extreme feed. Pikabar has level 10, still pushing Valkyries. He uses his ultimate ability. He gets a super thrust. Valkyries one volley away a couple of times from dying. And now let's see if they can get a gank. That could have been Valkyries faking his own control point teleport. Yeah, I think it was, because nobody else was in that position. So, mind games there by Valkyries. Wards Pikabar off. Pikabar's going to try to push one more time. Let's see how Valkyries is still level 8. So he's a long ways away before he can get to level 10 and be dangerous. Once he gets to level 10, they could have 2 anti-gravs go against ShadowStorm. Or 2 anti-gravs against Pikabar here. For now, this middle is pushing, so they're unlikely to get ganks into the middle. Until Alrion gets a hunter, in which case it'll be difficult to get ganks just out of sheer brute strength from that hunter. And I think that's what Alrion's going to save for. Let's see how much he can sell for. He can sell that for 1250. He can sell that for an additional 500, so 1750 in his tank. So he can sell everything for 2000, plus whatever he needs to teleport. So if he gets like if he gets 1,000 more gold, he can tank up. But if he gets like 2,000 more gold, he can tank up and keep his weapon. He'll probably get 2,000 more gold by 20-minute mark. So expect a 20-minute hunter with the Bombard Rocket out of Alrion, which is pretty fast. And he hasn't died yet, despite being a scout. Valkyries hits Pikabar with the Q. Pikabar hits Valkyries with his own Q. Is ShadowStorm or Fenix level 10 yet? Not so. Valkyrie's barely able to get the jump on Pikabar, and his follow-up volleys do not hit Pikabar. So Pikabar had that same situation happen to him earlier, so it's kind of an even trade there. I am curious to see how MMR in the Battle Tanks League is calculated. Escanor barely surviving there. And Alrion is now level 10, so as soon as he gets that hunter, he's going to be very, very powerful. ShadowStorm's going to hop in with a level 10 Raider. Not quite the best position to... everybody's a little bit too far away, so his hit and run's not really going to hit anybody. Clears out a couple of creeps, but doesn't deal anything. And Fenix is saving up some gold himself. Two kills from the Light Force. Pikabar's starting to save up gold. He might get a repair kit just to keep pressing this position. Once again, he can regenerate hit points with a repair kit, and Valkyries gets away with one volley from being dead. Getting that repair kit will allow him to maintain this position a little bit stronger, and it can surprise Fenix when he tries to gank. I've had times where I've been on a lane, and people have tried to gank me. I used a repair kit and killed both of them. So Alrion very close to that hunter. He'll get it at 20 minutes, definitely. Caav with the long range on that Thunder tank. Kind of interesting. A lot of people. Oh, excellent net by Alrion. Hitting Escanor right over this impassable terrain and transporting Escanor right into the midst of this whole team. Though, of course, Caav gets the lightning strike, or the chain lightning off, kills a guy in return. And then ShYMASTORM and Caav do kill Marquez as well. So, time for Alrion to get his tank, even if he has to go no weapons. Escanor has a small amount of gold, 2 electro cannons, so a lot of DPS, and then ShYMASTORM has 3,500 gold and kinetic shield, so he's in decent position to save up for a tank, unless Alrion gets that hunter right now, which would make both of them extremely vulnerable. Valkyrie's still not level 10, and he's lost his tower. Pikabar is level 11. Valkyrie's using a lot of slots to stack up on those basic magics, trying to survive against pikabar. I still think pikabar could do well to get a repair kit. It looks like maybe ShadowStorm tried to gank in the middle and got killed. Caav dealing a lot of damage from that long range. Pikabar comes in. They're gonna try to kill Caav. Do they have a triple rocket in them? Caav does have that 1300 range. Instead, he is dealing far too many damage, and that Dark Force is going to have to retreat. ShadowStorm, does he have his hit and run active? He takes a phase out from Fenix, so he's not going to be able to pursue that kill unless he has a repair kit. He does have a repair in him. I think Fenix could have still done that. He didn't need to hop out of the way there. Oh well. ShadowStorm got very lucky that. And then where's Alrion's tank? Come on. Couple of kills in the middle. Marquez using these reactive armor in the perfect time, healing a lot. Pikabar's going to come in, misses the super thrust. Alrion needs a tank. And he's not going to, or he's going to get the Tinker. Probably try to put a couple of repair modules on this one safe. Wonder if he'll try to get Demon. Okay, it looks like ShadowStorm is warding off Fenix right now. He's going to get the kill on Fenix. Pikabar is there just in case. And what is Alrion getting? He has gotten a Demon tank. Alright. Very powerful tank. As long as he can hit those lava shots, he can deal quite a lot of damage. He can also use a banish. Misses the lava shot. Marquez does get the sharing his carrying off. Hell Implosion doesn't hit anybody, but he is able to get the banish, and Escanor does die. Valkyriies is there with level 10 finally. And ShadowStorm with another kill on Fenix. So ShadowStorm starting to get an advantage there in that matchup. He has 2,000 gold saved up. I wonder how much Fenix has. ShadowStorm trash-talking Fenix now. Probably frustrating for Fenix to spectate that last game for 2 hours, only to finally join his own game and then start feeding. Fenix with selling his basic magic and getting a second electro cannon. Or maybe he sold it to get the repair kit. He can buy the basic magic back soon anyway. Both have the same DPS, but again, ShadowStorm can. Uh-oh, Fenix jumps onto ShadowStorm, uses the R ability. Can ShadowStorm survive long enough? Nope, and then Fenix did, of course, have the repair. So, a kill from him. And then Alrion has already bought back his weapon. SHYMASTORM comes out with a Goblin Brawler. And can they get the kill on Alrion? Alrion playing very aggressively against Escanor despite being low health, but you can do that when you're a demon tank. And SHYMASTORM is going to get one kill. Can they kill Alrion before Alrion can reach Escanor? SHYMASTORM can use his W to force Alrion back. He uses it just barely too late. It would have been guaranteed a kill. And Alrion's one volley away from Caav away from dying, but Caav himself is quite vulnerable. Caav's going to go back and heal probably before he takes a triple rocket from Hui Fui. Alrion gets an excellent lava shot on SHYMASTORM, and then Escanor dies in that exchange. Pikabar continuing to put pressure on Valkyriies here. Pikabar has 5,000 gold saved up to Valkyriies is 3,500, so Pikabar might get something like a Sky Tank or a pretty good tier 3 tank in that lane. We'll see what Valkyriies ends up responding it. Before he's going to stun Valkyriies, is anybody there to follow up? Pikabar does have that Sky Tank. Valkyriies is going to hop out of the way. There's no tower for him to hide in, so Pikabar can beeline to that command post. Let's see if Valkyriies is pinging right now. One energy bomb and he goes down. He's going to try to freeze Pikabar and maybe use his Tech Mech to tank, but it's not going to save him from the energy bomb. And now Escanor comes out with his own Sky Tank. Pikabar is a little bit wealthier since he was in the lane. Valkyries is going to try to reach ShadowStorm, barely misses him. And uh-oh, Huifui's got to be very careful because he can take a Molotov. And yeah, it's pretty much doomed there. Alrion banishes Escanor. I don't know why Escanor got the Sky Tank against Alrion. And we have a second Brawler in from Marquez. Brawler is my favorite tank right now, so I love it when it's showcased. Uses the R ability on Caav, but misses the Q. Brawler is best used when other tanks have already hit people with their abilities. And then Huifui gets a Storm Tank, maybe to counter Escanor, maybe to just stop feeding. Either way, what's going to happen is Alrion's going to stun people with the Lava Shot, so as long as he's reliably hitting those, Marquez can apply the R and the Explosive Brew as well, and that way they can get kills. Then Escanor is very vulnerable to both this Storm Tank and the Banish. You just saw him get leashed and banished right there, whereas the DPS to follow up, pretty non-existent. Huifui's going to take an R from SHYMASTORM, but he's going to ride it out. And now Marquez is going to hit the R on Valkyries, who has to be careful about moving a little bit too much. He nearly dies, but Marquez does miss the follow-up Q, and Pikabar barely misses the Flame Strike, and Caav kills him. Fenix and ShadowStorm. Fenix does have the repair kit, which he uses. It's ShadowStorm with the EMP torpedoes. ShadowStorm has to use his hit and run just to get to safety, heal up at the command post, and then return. And meanwhile on this north team, Caav can be the one to initiate stuns, followed up by SHYMASTORM and Escanor dealing damage. SHYMASTORM can use the Q as well to disable the movement a little bit more. Escanor once again taking a leash and a banish, and a Molotov that misses. He has the R on him as well. And then Caav tries to get a chain lightning, but he makes himself vulnerable, and he's the one to die. Fenix does have the prepare, as does ShadowStorm. ShadowStorm right now is pushing, or Fenix right now is the one pushing ShadowStorm. See if he can get the kill. Somebody's going to hop in and try to get a gank. Fenix is forced to use the repair a bit prematurely, but Valkyriies comes in. Makes sure ShadowStorm cannot pursue that. Pikabar buying back his weapons, so he's going to stay on the lane here. Make sure those creeps don't reach his tower and get killed by the Dark Force. Kind of the Goblin Brawler Explosive Brew is actually not the best at killing creeps. Its AoE is very small, and SHYMASTORM just wasted it on like 3 creeps. It would be very useful to have that Explosive Brew right now to force these tanks away from Escanor. Oh well. And then Valkyries needs to get a tank soon. Looks like he's sticking with the anti-grav for a while. He's got a gold hole on it. And then I wonder how much gold Fenix has. Fenix 3,000 gold. ShadowStorm 5,000 gold, so a bit more. Pikabar stepping a little bit too far forward, and he gets saved for temporarily by Fenix's ultimate ability, so he doesn't take the Explosive Brew or a bunch of damage, and he does die anyway, but Fenix almost preserved him there. the gank here on the top. Marquez misses the R. Can he finish off Fenix? Yes. ShadowStorm teleports back. Valkyries, of course, has the R on him, so he took a lot of damage there, and let's see if pikabar can finish him off. He does with the energy bomb. Caav did get one return kill on ShadowStorm there. And Huifui does a lot of damage, and he can clear out creeps with that ultimate ability, but he has to be careful because SHYMASTORM and Fenix are back. And then Alrion might be saving up for something like a poison magic pretty quickly, or a light fantastic. He's close to getting it. He can sell that bombard rockets. He can actually sell both the bombard and the hull right now and get the light fantastic, but that's what he's after. Valkyries doesn't have that much DPS, so he can't really kill that tower. Let's see if pikabar clears out these creeps with a flame strike. He's just gonna let them get cleared, and he's gonna, if he can kind of counter Valkyries right now, Valkyries is going to be able to jump out of the way likely. Yeah, very long jump, able to get out of there. Though pikabar is following up pretty quickly. Is anybody gonna help out? Big fight going on in the middle, so everybody's distracted. Valkyries is forced to build. I did miss that exchange in the middle. It looks like that did favor the Light Force 2-1 right there. And then pikabar, of course, Valkyries did have to spend a bunch of gold building that barricade. That barricade isn't even permanent. It's going to expire soon, but pikabar can kill it and get some additional bounty. So he's exacerbating his gold lead over Valkyries right now. Going to try to gank pikabar. Pikabar, of course, has a teleport right now, but so does Caav, and Caav reaches him and stuns him, and Valkyries is going to jump in and finish off that kill. And Huifui is not powerful enough to Incognito is not powerful enough to finish them off. Though ShadowStorm might be if he can get the repair off. Valkyries does have a lot of hit points that, yeah, minimal amount of damage with that hit and run. You just saw Caav type in the chat, Caav TP, kind of trash talking the fact that he got the gank kill on pikabar there. And pikabar himself is a little bit vulnerable. He's 12 seconds away from having the teleport back, and he's going to die, and Marquez is forced to get out of there. He takes a Goblin Brawler R. He should just run out of that, because now he takes the Q. He should have just run away. He would have survived. And now Caav gets a kill as well. So Light Force getting the best of the last two fights. Alrion misses the Demon Tank Lava Shot. SHYMASTORM probably would have died to that. And we've got all 5 players on this south team here. Fenix, can he get into the command post before dying? Barely able to survive and has a kinetic shield there just in case. Gotten nearly killed by that R from Marquez. Marquez having to get out of the way. And Caav teleports in. He's going to try to kill ShadowStorm and Huifui. And they do get the kill. pikabar teleports in and kills Caav. Revenge for that kill from earlier. And now he's dealing damage to SHYMASTORM. Escanor comes in to share damage. And takes a lava shot. So he's going to have to back up. Escanor's Sky Tank really isn't that useful in this situation, since they've got right now 3 air tanks. ShadowStorm, of course, will probably get a ground tank soon, but he can only use his Flame Strike against Alrion and Marquez, who are very tough to kill right now. Alrion does get phased out by Valkyries. It's not going to be followed up by anything. Caav still has this interesting build with the long-range Thunder Tank. He has a Steel Hull on it now, so it's not quite as weak. He's going to come in and snipe Alrion. Valkyries doesn't have his phase-out ability, but they are going to get the kill on Alrion with the Goblin Brawler R. Escanor gets saved by a kinetic shield, but he dies anyway. And then it looks like Fenix got a kill on ShadowStorm at the top meanwhile. And does Alrion have a weapon yet? Yeah, he does. He has his light, fantastic, and he has speed now, so he'll be a little bit more useful and potent. Valkyriies starting to save up for a tank now. Hoi Foi has bought lightning magic, so a powerful weapon. Pikabar might get... Looks like everybody's ground tanks, so we could get an artillery for some 400 DPS for 5,000 gold. Alrion gets a kill, but he's going to die in return. And who has this frost robot? It's ShadowStorm. ShadowStorm of Frost with 3 basic magics already. He is phased out, but Marquez did put the R on Valkyriies. And let's see if they can get the kill on this. ShadowStorm is quite tanky. Can they finish off Valkyriies? Yes, but ShadowStorm is going to die in return, and Marquez himself has to be very careful. He uses the kinetic shield to try to preserve Valkyriies. Is he stuck or something? Why did he sit there for so long? Kind of died needlessly there. See, ShadowStorm, as somebody pointed out, didn't get the Frost Bomb's ability. Still kills Fenix, who is a Tinker. He got the freezing aura instead, which slows the movement speed of all nearby enemies. He does die, actually the Light Force killed him, so pretty lucky there. Didn't give all of his gold to one of the players. And Fenix is a Tinker. Was he just trying to put a repair module on this? Probably not worth dying for. And I wonder what tank he's going to get. He puts a second repair module on this tower in case this command post gets taken. And now he's going to get a tank. It's going to be a frost robot, so both of them get frosts. And he's going to freeze Alrion. Alrion, meanwhile, hits SHYMASTORM, and then SHYMASTORM is frozen. Can he use his W to get out of there? Not quite, and then Caav teleports out of the way. SHYMASTORM, of course, does have this teleport breaker, so we got to keep that in mind when pikabar tries to teleport in, or perhaps Alrion when he gets a teleporter soon. Meanwhile, we have Valkyriies taking out this command post down here. I hope this game isn't too long. I just went through a 2-hour, 5-minute game commentating. Let's see if they go after Alrion there. Marquez probably thought he had the R on him and he was pausing, but he didn't in fact have the R. Alrion 1 shot away from dying. They do kill him. Marquez is a little bit vulnerable as well. They might get away with this. Marquez barely survives. SHYMASTORM's a little bit vulnerable now, takes an energy bomb, takes some freezing waves before he finishes him off with a lightning magic volley. Valkyriies, I wonder what tank he's going to get. Maybe another demon tank as well. Alrion takes another R. SHYMASTORM with a fire torpedo. That's usually what I get as a goblin brawler. So usually I get speed by now. Fire torpedo or frost magic. Pikabar gets frozen, trying to attack this top command post. And then Fenix is a little bit late on that Prison of Ice and Freezing Waves. Wasted as Pikabar teleports out of the way. And Valkyriies is going to get a Frost Robot as well. 2 Frost Robots. And he does have some inventory in that. So they've got to be careful in these team fights here. If I were the North team, I would bunch up your tanks and launch an assault on these command posts. The only problem is both of their lanes are vulnerable. Actually, this top lane still has the tower intact, but the bottom doesn't. But yeah, bring both Frosts in and get some chain stuns. Valkyries has a net for Pikabar and Hoi Foi. Let's see if that comes into play right now. SHYMASTORM did have a teleport breaker back here. Escanor getting leashed, gets a kinetic shield and a Goblin Brawler shield. And now both of the Frost Robots are present. They might teleport back to Alrion. Alrion's not the easiest target to kill. He does have a lot of hit points. And they might be going after Marquez. No, kind of a dud from Valkyries there. SHYMASTORM using his explosive brew uselessly on the creeps once again. Like, in my opinion, sometimes it's okay to farm creeps with the abilities, but the explosive brew isn't even good at that. ShadowStorm's a little bit vulnerable. He has the Brawler R on him, so he can't move too far. SHYMASTORM tried to hit him with the W, but missed. He died anyway. And then Alrion taking damage from Fenix. Fenix gets the kill. Escanor gets hooked again. Escanor has a teleport now, probably wise. He is getting focused a lot. And Valkyrie is trying to take down this bottom command post. He's going to die. Escanor gets hit with the lava shot and the banish. He's probably going to die now. He doesn't have that teleport anymore. So he's getting focused pretty hard. And yeah, if you're the Dark Force, do abuse the fact that he is a vulnerable air tank. Those Frost Robots with 13,000 health are a lot tougher to kill. They're going to go after ShadowStorm here. A couple of stuns go off. Do they have the DPS to finish him? They might. ShadowStorm, did he spawn a bunch of mortar teams? Does he have a siege pack? And now Caav is a little bit vulnerable. He uses a repair kit from his strength pack. Pikabar's got to be careful himself. These guys do have a lot of hit points. Alrion comes in. Can he hit the lava shot on Caav? Missed. Waited a bit too long. I wonder if it was on cooldown until just then. ShYMASTORM forces Hoi Foi to flee and die. Pikabar is a little bit vulnerable. Fenix steps a little bit out of position there. Let's see, can he get focused down? Takes a Frost Bombs. Pikabar takes an Explosive Brew, forcing him back. Excellently aimed by ShYMASTORM there. Unlike the one from Marquez, which just pushed somebody closer to him to get the kill. Valkyries uses the Prison of Ice defensively. He's going after Escanor, who has to teleport out of the way. Valkyries is taking a few Frost Waves, but he's still able to get the kill. Caav takes a lava shot from Alrion, but survives. And now ShYMASTORM, unless he has the W right now, he might die. He does die, not have the W. Pikabar has to teleport out of the way after getting hit. So you can pikabar push Valkyries right now. He does have that artillery. Valkyries has to teleport out. So right now we have a lot of people with teleporters. Caav does, Valkyries does, Escanor does. Fenix doesn't, but if I were this Dark Force, put some breakers down probably. Because while those teleports are being used defensively most of the time, up here we have seen a couple of gank attempts. So, and even if those teleport breakers save 1 kill or contribute to 1 kill, they've already more than paid for themselves. So, I would start investing in them if I were this Dark Force here. Caav dodges Alrion's lava shot. Doesn't dodge the R from Marquez. He's going to take a lot of damage for that. Still able to survive. Alrion takes an R. Marquez also takes a shot, and then pikabar is going to teleport in. Alrion gets out of the way. Does Alrion have a teleport now? So Alrion has a teleport, pikabar has a teleport. Opportunities to get teleport breaker kills for both teams right now. Alrion finally gets a lava shot off. The R doesn't hit Escanor though. Escanor teleports out of the way. He would have survived even if he had the R. He teleported out pretty quickly. Caav is a little bit vulnerable right now. He has his own teleport now if he needs to survive. He doesn't use the teleport. And now ShadowStorm and Marquez are a little bit vulnerable. SHYMASTORM has to get out of the way there. ShadowStorm's going to take some freezing waves and he's going to die. Before he gets netted, and pikabar is going to teleport in onto Escanor. Valkyriies teleports to get pikabar, but now Hoifoi and pikabar and Alrion are going to team up to kill him. Caav teleports in. He's going to get killed by Alrion, having the Hell Implosion off cooldown. Alrion's going to hit Fenix. Fenix uses freezing waves on nobody, and now Fenix might die. SHYMASTORM himself is a little bit vulnerable. Fenix has, of course, the Goblin Brawler R on him, and he gets a shield just in time. Now Alrion's vulnerable, he can't flee. Fenix barely surviving there, owing his life to Shyma. Shyma is going to die right there. And it looks like they got a kill on SHYMASTORM meanwhile. Or ShadowStorm, sorry. Pikabar with the second artillery, so I think he has the most DPS of anybody in the game right now. He doesn't need to get a speed pack because he has the Lord of the Sky ability, which also increases the speed of Hoifoi. So maybe he'll get a third weapon, maybe he'll get a hole, and then start saving up for a tank. It is 48 minutes, so it's about time to start saving up for a tank. Get some teleport breakers. Looks like SHYMASTORM has one. Going after pikabar. Pikabar teleports out of the way. Somebody's got to come in and help him. Probably besides Hoifoi. He does benefit from pikabar's aura. They both have a lot of DPS. So as Alrion teleports in, and then ShadowStorm's going to also teleport in. They're going to kill Valkyries before Valkyries can even respond. And then Hoifoi, that was a mistake. When you see the net animation going up against you, you do not run over trees. If you are hit with a net over impassable terrain, you are teleported to the origin of the net. And so the net got thrown from here, so that's where Hoifoi got teleported to. Somebody's taking a command post. It was Marquez, a little bit too zealous of him. And now Alrion's going to die. And so does Hoifoi. So 3 kills for the Light Force right there. Kind of free. Trying to get a gank kill on ShadowStorm there. His teleporter comes online just in time. Now SHYMASTORM's going to try to build here. Gets a kill on pikabar, but he and Valkyriies are going to die. And Caav teleports in to get the kill on ShadowStorm. Caav might die as well. Takes a lava shot from Alrion to guarantee that he dies. Before we hit by a net and hit by the brawler R, he can teleport out and survive. And then SHYMASTORM is hit by Marquez's R. Marquez is going to follow with the W, but he gets stunned far too much and he might die. They're able to get one kill out of it, so a 1-to-1 trade. Valkyriies has got to be careful. Pikabar has a lot of DPS, gets a shield, teleports out of the way. Escanor is banished. He's going to teleport out. And then now Fenix is going to try to hit pikabar, but pikabar gets out of the way. Teleport breakers would be really, really useful for both of these teams right now. Here we see one right here. We see another that just got placed. Actually, it was just a detector. So ShadowStorm just making sure there are no counter detectors, and he's going to put a teleport breaker down. Alrion hits Fenix with the Q. Fenix doesn't have his teleport for a while, but he gets a kinetic shield and a Goblin Brawler shield. Or no, that's the Goblin Brawler R I'm seeing. Gets most of his health rid of, or he gets damaged most of his health, but he has plenty of allies near him. Fenix gets a kill on this bottom here, and now Valkyriies is going to come and try to kill Alrion. Alrion reacts very quickly and teleports out of the way. And now ShadowStorm's going to try to hook SHYMASTORM. SHYMASTORM's W allows him to escape Alrion's lava shot. ShadowStorm does plant a breaker in here, probably wise. Let's see if anybody gets caught in it right now. Alrion takes a few abilities. He doesn't have the Goblin Brawler R, so he can safely get out. Marquez is the one to die there. Fenix is going to die in return, most likely. He gets a heal, but then he takes a Flame Strike. And then Hoi Foi also dies. So 2-to-1 for the Light Force there. Escanor teleports out of the way before he takes any more damage. Let's see if anybody hits this breaker from SHYMASTORM right now. Nobody does. Before he takes another stun and a net, and he's going to get Brawler R'd. He dies before he can even react. Alrion misses another lava shot. Pikabar is starting to save up a lot of gold. He has 7,000 gold. Marquez, not much. Alrion has 7,000 himself. ShadowStorm is a frost robot. He can stay that for a little bit. And who's the last guy? Hoi Foi. Not much gold there. Meanwhile, Caav, 4,000 gold. Escanor, 3,000. SHYMASTORM, 6,000. And then Valkyriies and Fenix are frosts. They can stay that for a little bit longer. So Pikabar and Alrion are the closest to getting tanks. Huifoi dies yet again, and then Fenix tries to teleport defensively and runs into ShadowStorm's defensive breaker. And now pikabar runs into SHYMASTORM's breaker. He's able to get the kill on Escanor, but he dies in return. Meanwhile, Marquez got a kill on ShadowStorm, or SHYMASTORM. And it looks like Valkyriies got a control point in the meantime. So the Light Force is winning this game so far. They are ahead in kills and ahead by 1 command post. However, the Dark Force does have 2 people who are saving up quite a lot of gold for tanks. Alrion has almost 9,000 and pikabar has almost 9,000 as well. Pikabar has 10,000 actually. Closest person to a tank on the Light Force. It's, I think it's SHYMASTORM with around 6,000. So this Dark Force is going to have a window where they get a couple of tanks. If they can get a Titan and an Infernal, perhaps Alrion getting the Infernal, Pika with the Titan, they can swing this game. SHYMASTORM barely surviving. Caav's got to get out of the way. Pikabar takes a net, and he's going to die. Meanwhile, Valkyriies dealing damage to this tower, trying to also kill Huifoi. Succeeds in neither. Well, he does deal some damage to the tower. Actually, SHYMASTORM isn't saving up at all. So looks like pikabar and Alrion are going to have a window where they have the best tanks. Let's see if they can take advantage of that and swing some command posts quickly. Maybe at the 1 hour mark. Escanor takes a hook but teleports out of the way. Huifoi tries to teleport in and he uses his teleport. That was greedy. And he can't use his teleport to escape now. SHYMASTORM has a lot of DPS, so he's very dangerous to people as long as he can survive fights. SHYMASTORM dodges Alrion's lava shot. They're going to go after Marquez right now, but he has all 4 teammates accompanying him. Does take some damage, but it's not going to be fatal. Escanor gets hooked once again, and then both of these players take the Goblin Brawler R. They might just wait it out unless Alrion comes in with a Hell Implosion. Alrion has to get back because he himself is a little bit vulnerable. They do kill pikabar. Valkyriies and SHYMASTORM barely survive that. Not going to be able to net pikabar for long. 30 seconds from now, he's probably going to get a Titan. Alrion will get a tank as well. Escanor takes a lava shot, teleports out. SHYMASTORM planting a semi-offensive breaker right here. See if he can catch anybody. Going after SHYMASTORM. SHYMASTORM doesn't have a teleporter. He has his W. It's not enough. Kind of a quiet game right now. Everybody has teleporters and nobody's really making themselves vulnerable. Let's see if they can get the tanks now. Alrion with 11,000. Pikabar with 12,000. Can somebody do the upgrades and get them their tanks? Alrion banishes Escanor, gets the lava shut off. He's able to kill Escanor. Looks like Pikabar might be selling things. No, not yet. Yes, he is. He's going to tank. 17,000. He can't tinker. He has 18,000, 20,000. He's going to get a Titan. Alrion gets a Frozen Tempest. So right now they do have the tanks. So if they can buy their weapons back, they can start pushing command posts. Pikabar does teleport in using ShadowStorm's teleport beacon, so they do take back the one that was lost. And then Pikabar with an excellently aimed orbital strike to finish off Escanor. And let's see if Pikabar and Alrion can start buying their weapons back. Pikabar doesn't have any weapons. He's gotten a couple of recharges just to make sure he has. Alrion does buy back some weapons. Pikabar buys back his weapons as well. They're probably going to go after this command post now. Keep in mind there is that teleport breaker, so they can't teleport in. And Pikabar teleports in. So this is probably going to be a failed attack. Though that obelisk is quite powerful, dealing 2,500 damage and stunning anybody who comes in. Caav dies, they do get a build. Alrion's here. Can Valkyriies hold this command post? He tries to get troops, but he just wastes a bunch of time doing that. He has to teleport out. And now he's going to die to Alrion, perhaps. Nets Alrion in the middle of these trees. Can Alrion survive? They're trying to take this command post right here. They're going to hold off. The third big tank coming out from Marquez. Pikabar does die, so they're going to have to wait before they can take the last command post. And it looks like Escanor is perhaps waiting for upgrades. They've only got 12 armor upgrades. Hurry, Escanor's a freaking tinker, 290 hit points. Nobody's doing ups. Escanor sat there for about 10 seconds and maybe even 15 seconds, and nobody did any upgrades. Alrion gets a kill, he gets stunned a lot, gets netted. And it looks like Escanor just died as a tinker, and Pikabar is going to plant that obelisk, dealing a lot of damage to any unit that comes in, including that Tech-Mech, including Caav. Fenix takes a lot of damage. That obelisk also prevents them from using their abilities quickly, so Caav died before he can really get anything off, and Fenix also had to flee before he could do anything. And same with the Valkyriies. Quite vulnerable, he has to teleport out, he can't even use his freezing waves. SHYMASTORM's going to push both Marquez and Pikabar out of the way with the charge, so that was a good play by him, but everybody's going to die anyway, and they're going to take this command post. This game might end pretty quickly. Escanor finally does get the tank. Maybe he gets a Goliath. Got 15 armor upgrades for him. ShadowStorm does have that breaker, probably specifically for Escanor. Escanor ended up going to the other tank construction hall to get it. And if Marquez doesn't die right now, he doesn't have a teleporter. He really needs it. And is anybody close to getting a tank besides Escanor? Caav is not. Fenix is not. Valkyriies is not. Pikabar is going to come in, use his R ability. Somebody's trying to take a command post. It's SHYMASTORM. He'll be able to take care of Hui Foi, but somebody's got to teleport in. Everybody teleports in. And so SHYMASTORM, his charge is interrupted, and he's going to die. Marquez is definitely going to get that kill. Use the splash cannon, yep. And here comes Alrion, just to get us some heal. And looks like they've got 2 command posts left that they need to take. Pikabar comes in, plants the obelisk. That's going to make it so that they can't freeze him immediately. He's going to use the R ability. ShadowStorm comes in with some freezing waves. Pikabar hits a couple of people in the orbital strike. They are going to take this command post. 3 people are already down. Caav is trying to tank. He's going to get a Frozen Tempest. And then SHYMASTORM. Alrion looks like he planted a thing there. So SHYMASTORM's also likely going to die. Fuifui and Marquez going after him. They both have a lot of DPS. Fuifui's got to be a little bit careful himself. He's still quite fragile. And Marquez actually dies. That felt kind of needless. Pikabar is going to plant an obelisk here at the top. They might not be able to take it with one of their guys gone. 2 of their guys gone. SHYMASTORM with kills on both of them. Pretty impressive. He's not going to be able to pursue that command post because everybody's playing defensive right now. Given that they lost 2 players, Pikabar comes in. He's going to teleport on top of SHYMASTORM. Does he have an orbital strike or anything? Nah. Alright, so it's a 5v5 again. Let's see if they can push this final command post and end this game. Holy Light from Alrion, pretty interesting. And it looks like they're going to push right now. Can Pikabar get the obelisk in? Fenix is stunned. Pikabar himself is stunned. Cryosphere goes off on that Frost Robot and that Goliath. Can Pikabar plant a good obelisk? Does he even have the obelisk? Before he dies, Alrion's got to be careful. Fenix does die. Can they pursue Alrion? Somebody got a Frozen Tempest. Oh yeah, it was Caav. So Marquez dies. Obelisk goes off. Trying to kill Caav with it. The obelisk does deal a significant amount of damage. 1000 damage. So Alrion's going to survive that. Huh. That Holy Light is pretty impressive. I thought it did a lot way reduced damage in heal mode, but I guess it just costs mana. Actually does more when it heals, not less. Interesting. So that's a good weapon to have in a command post fight, I suppose, if you have infinite mana. Marquez hits Escanor with the Devastator shot. Right now it's a 5-on-3, but they're vulnerable, so maybe go back and heal. They still have this breaker here. Pikabar probably sees that breaker. Pikabar comes in with the armor. He's gonna come in and try to do something. They'll take out that breaker at least. That's not an obelisk that's close enough to assault the command post, though. We're going to try to go after this top command post. Pikabar is going to teleport into them. Nets Caav and hits him with an orbital strike. Can he get hit with a Devastator shot, perhaps? No. Pikabar himself is hit with the Devastator shot. He doesn't have a teleporter, so he's a little bit vulnerable right now. Gets a kinetic shield. Caav's trying to teleport in. That was kind of unwise. He just dies into the middle of everybody and an obelisk. So they've got 18 seconds to assault this command post, make it a take the final Light Force command post here. And they have pretty much caught up in kills as well. So they do have a lot more overall net worth than this Light Force does. 2 frosts on pikabar. Pikabar is getting healed by Alrion though. And now he's going to get an excellent orbital strike that's going to kill Fenix. Can't really assault the command post without the obelisk that effectively, but it looks like Marquez just got killed by SHYMASTORM. Valkyriies isn't saving up for a tank. SHYMASTORM has a small amount of gold, but not enough to get a tank immediately. And then ShadowStorm isn't saving up for a tank either. What about Fenix? Fenix, not really either. He doesn't have much DPS. Valkyriies and Caav going after Marquez. Let's see if they can get the build here. Whose inventory is that? Oh, it's Valkyriies'. Let's see if you can maybe take that command post. Meanwhile, they're taking this one at the top. They are going to capture it. So not a good trade from Valkyriies there, though he and Caav are able to teleport back in. And maybe they can hold on to this. So they get a command post out of this exchange. Pikabar comes in once again, but he's stunned. And he dies. And they've got to be careful now that they don't lose this command post. Marquez taking a Devastator shot. Caav getting netted. ShadowStorm is going to die pretty quickly. Devastator shot comes out from Marquez, hits a couple of people, and here comes Huifui finally with the tank. It's an Infernal, and he has a decent amount of DPS on it, so he's going to be pretty impactful, and he's going to stop feeding. So Alrion gets 2 kills. Is this Marquez's inventory? Oh no, and he's on the Light Force, or the Dark Force. So it's his whole inventory right here. SHYMASTORM planting a teleport breaker. How did that happen? Unless it was a glitch or something. Before he hits the breaker, they might just straight up brute force their way into this command post. Before he's a little bit vulnerable, pikabar might die as well. Cryosphere goes off, hits a couple of people. I don't know if that was Caav's or Alrion's. Looks like Marquez got his inventory back. A couple of kills. They kill the Valkyries. No, they have to flee. Is that a glitch? I had a game where we were pushing a command post. This was maybe 30 minutes into the game. I was a brawler and accidentally left my iron hull upgrade right here. I rallied my tech mech into the base, lost my tech mech, lost my iron hull. Thankfully, we were pushing that command post so heavily that I was able to get it back a few minutes later, but it was quite embarrassing and a big blunder right there. I think we lost a couple of lives unnecessarily trying to get that iron hull back. But we got it back, and then I disconnected from the game later, so which was unfortunate. Pikabar teleports onto Caav, nets him, and orbital strikes him. Maybe he got netted a second time. Yeah, he got 2 nets. So Caav dies, SHYMASTORM dies. Freezing waves hitting a lot of people on this team, as is the Devastator shot. They can go back and heal and then come back. Remember, they can use the nets against Alrion as well. I don't think anybody has nets. None of these 3 players do. And everybody's back, so they weren't able to take the command post in time. Pikabar takes 2 successive prisons of ice and a Devastator shot, so he takes a lot of damage. He's going to survive, but he'll have to go back and heal. Alrion finally gets netted. Caav has nets. Caav, of course, gets netted himself. He does get a kill on Alrion, dies in return. And Huifui teleports onto everybody, and it's followed up by a Devastator shot from Marquez. Unfortunately, whoever was the most vulnerable teleported out, Escanor. cannot type net worth as a referee, but so I cannot see what the true net worth of each team is, but I'm pretty sure the Dark Force has more net worth. They were behind in kills by like 25 earlier in the game, and they've caught up, and so late game kills give a lot more gold than early game kills though do, so they're likely more. And you can check out people's inventories, like Valkyriies doesn't have Valkyriies has an okay inventory, Fenix does not. They have better tanks, they have more DPS. All they need is one really good exchange and a good push in the middle, and they can pretty much end the game. Unfortunately, they're taking a lot of damage before they can even reach command posts. SHYMASTORM's going to get a tank. Can he get it in time? Got an Infernal bot. Maybe he was trying to wait for his teammates to up armor. They're at 17, so he's forced to get in the Infernal before he dies. Probably wanted to Titan there. Looks like he was waiting for the upgrades. Pikabar planting the obelisk and the R ability in the midst of everybody. SHYMASTORM does of course have that Infernal bot. Does he have his abilities? He has a small amount of inventory, but they're going to take this command post. Huifui finishes off the fleeing Escanor and SHYMASTORM, and so everybody's dead, so they're almost certainly going to take this middle command post. Nobody is there to defend it. The first person comes back, it's I think Fenix in 10 seconds, and he might not even be able to get there in time, but they're just going to come in one by one and all die. So all the command posts are taken, and this light force might give up pretty soon. And yep, they do give up, so that was an excellent game. The Light Force was quite ahead in kills for a while, but they did not save up for tanks, and Alrion and pikabar did. And so they were able to swing that game. And a couple of misplays made it take a little bit longer than it needed to, but they ended up taking all the command posts and winning. So well played by the Dark Force there, and good game everybody. Titan music out.